Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Heat Beat Postgame Show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, we have the great Siobhan. Hi, Bon.
Hi, why am I in the middle? It's weird.
I'll be in the middle if you want. There we go. Problem solved. We have Saucy Takes, Coach Lou. What's up, Coach? What's up, Lou?
I'm sorry. I don't know what's up, man.
Not the vibe.
No, you see what the thing is. It says speechless for a reason.
I didn't see. Hold on. We'll show your name tag. It says speechless. Okay. Well, remember the Chiron covers up the name tag. You know, we want to be professional around here. A Chiron gives the illusion of professionalism. You know, not that we're not professional, but again, it's in a little elevates. You know what I mean? It elevates. And I like it. I like it around here. Welcome to the post-game show. Miami Heat beat the Atl Hawks 117 to 111 in double overtime. Yes, that is probably a regulation score for most normal offenses.
Man, what?
Not for this team against one of the worst defenses in the league.
We should have been in the air 20 minutes ago.
I'm gonna tell you something. We should have been done, but
Right.
we would have been wrapping up telling you, hey, well, see you tomorrow for Heat Mavs. But no, we are starting the show right now because God, I mean, we could start with the end of regulation. There's a lot of places that we could start. But guys, I guess I want to get to something. Chat just says, I feel nothing. So somebody that say, I feel nothing.
That's exactly what I feel.
I feel anger. I feel anger. I feel disappointment. I feel a lot of disappointment.
No. Don't even got space for those.
I'm numb at this point.
Feel nothing.
I've become so numb. I can't feel you there. Banger.
Yep.
That's really it. Linkin Park and their mid 2000s really capture the feeling, you know, because in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Man.
They tried so hard and they're gonna get so far. I feel a lot like the Chicago game where Jimmy has the game winner, and that team was not very good at the time. I know that they've been playing better as of late, but that team was not playing good. They fight for their lives. They hit a game winner. I come on air and I fake enthusiasm for 25 minutes because I just didn't want to be the buzzkill. And at this point, I think we all agree. My timeline was maximum toxic. I don't know if you guys experienced this. No one was happy. Not a soul.
Unity. Nice.
That's what it takes.
Together with the community in a way that I haven't in a while.
ITY. Yeah, like I don't know what else. It's very much like I feel nothing. Like, yes, girl, go give us nothing. Battle of the mid.
That's exactly what it was.
A fierce battle. Like what
fierce.
A contested battle.
The mid off.
That was insane.
I saw Alf. So Alf was at the game today, and I saw someone on Twitter said Alf started the "Let's Go Heat" chant, and he thinks it's because Alf just wanted the game to be over.
Whatever works.
Didn't want more of it.
I saw Alf said that he wanted to go home, and he was at the game. I saw people saying they were at home and they still wanted to go home, man. Like,
I just wanted it to be over. Man.
I think it was Carly Tiana. Shout out.
It's just like I want it to be over. Let's actually talk basketball. Let's talk about something good first. Let's be a little. They won the game, right? Let's not talk about it like a loss. Bond, your son is closing games now. Again, another good performance in the fourth quarter and both overtimes is very helpful. There was one play, I don't remember if it was the second overtime or the first, but they run a lot of action. People are moving. He gets the ball in the corner, makes a hard drive, and finishes a reverse layup. And I thought of both you, Bon, and Lou, because Lou's like, we need some goddamn play finishers. And that was a fucking play finisher move. And Bon, for you, you have talked about how he provides a skill that nobody has at his size. The ball handling, the downhill aggression, the touch. All of that stuff, no one has at his size. And that's an element that they're introducing to their kind of late game repertoire.
Mm-hmm. 5 of 8 from 3,
That's
8 for
big time.
12 overall, 8 boards, 1 assist, and everything that you just said. Frankie and I talk a lot about wanting like all of them, especially he and Tyler specifically, to drive with more aggression or drive with an acceptance of kind of the contact, if not initiating it and getting the shoulder in there first. And you've seen him do that. You can't pick on him nowhere near as easily as you could defensively. And yeah, offensively, like all of the things, the size, the skill set, the vision, the IQ, the touch, the feel as a playmaker, reading and anticipating where his cutters are, where Bam is. He had that play. They were running some stuff to the left, and it ended up in his hands, kind of the top of the key. He pushed it to the right wing. Caleb's cutting baseline, and it's just a really nice kind of like, it wasn't even an overhead pass. It was just a high pass, angled down, kind of got straight to Caleb. And it's just fun. There's no one that replicates his skill set at his age, at his maneuverability, at his fluidity, and he's still, just 20. Like I'm very happy that he's getting these closing minutes. I felt like there was space for him to be getting closing minutes early in the season. I felt like there was space for him to just be getting a bit bigger of chunks of playing time. People have asked me all the time, like, what is Spo's thing? Like, he will be playing well, and then you don't see him for like a really kind of big amount of time. And I'm always like, maybe it's just trying to keep him, save himself from himself before it gets kind of out of hand. But I'm happy they've been letting him close, and I don't know what the rest of these last 2, 3, whatever games looks like, whatever this postseason looks like. But if there's nothing else to be had from this season, and I have seen a lot of people say that there's nothing else to take away from this season but his emergence and just, standing his position, kind of like, I'm the 4, I belong. Backstage, you were talking about, like, he's just so fun to watch, and like he's smiling every time he kind of scores, and it's just a feeling of belongingness. Like, yo, I can do this. I'm cool. And as the more he progresses and more time he gets, like, he'll just continue to blossom. I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, and to kind of to your point about like kind of saving him or whatever, I think that the defense was something that Spo was worried about, and I was surprised today that he's playing some backup 5 for them now. Again, that was really where it started. Yep. And he, we went through the saga of like that not really working out. So now they're going back to that, and those lineups are really, really small. It's like Jimmy at the 4, and then with like Caleb or Highsmith or whatever. So they're not very big. And I just think that they've been like really effective because now they're switching those lineups. Like Jovic is in the game, and they're switching him as the 5. They're not playing zone. They're not dropping him. And I'm like, that's really interesting. Like DeJounte Murray is, very fierce off the dribble, has a lot of juice, has a lot of zip. Yep. And they're like, no, it's okay, Jovic, you can switch on to him. And we're going to make sure that backline help is going to be there to help you. We're going to help at the nail. We're going to do like our Miami Heat help principles. But they're trusting him. And that's a huge spot against, especially against a guy like him that he's fast as fuck, man. Like, you know what I mean? He'll do stuff.
No, he's been his development is truly like, it's been exponential, man. Like, there's no other way to put this. From where he started the season to now, it's 4 seasons we've seen a rookie contract worth of development in half a year, in my opinion. That is absolutely ridiculous. But on defense, the first bucket he got scored on in isolation was in the 3rd quarter with like 4 minutes left by DeAndre Hunter. I was keeping track, G. I was.
You were keeping track. I
was keeping track because he got switched on to DeJounte several times, and they either ended in misses or in kickouts. Or, like, it wasn't even like kickouts that broke down the defense. It was just a swing. Yep. It was just a swing. That is impressive. It's not just this game today. They played the Pacers on Sunday, and Tyrese got him on the first. I want to say like the first quarter. He got like he hit him with a step back 3. He kind of juked him a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater on defense, but he was supposed to be bad on that end. he is above average to good right now. Like, genuinely, his size helps so much. His ability to stop fouling and just contain the dribble has improved in a way that I personally, and I'm a huge Niko fan. That's who I wanted us to draft that year. I didn't think this was going to be like, I didn't think this would have been achievable maybe. And we're seeing this year 2, 20 years old. He's the youngest player on the team. And dare I say, he was the most consistent guy throughout the entire course of the game today. Tyler had a sensational first half, disappeared for a bit for maybe some reasons of his own, maybe some reasons not of his own. But Niko just consistent.
What do you mean by that?
Just Jimmy was, Spo was, man.
Jimmy was.
We'll say that for the We'll say that for the Tyler segment, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But just Niko's been so good. An impressive thing today. Only 1 turnover. I don't care about the 1 assist. He had about like 2 passes that he made.
It's not his job. It's not his job.
It's not his job. But I reckon it should be.
The playmaking?
I reckon he should get a little more fucking playmaking responsibilities, considering the way that fucking overtime and fourth quarter ended. Like, just the inability for, like, I don't know. I'll save that for later. But just Niko doing all the little things, hitting the shots, 23 points on 12 shots. Talk about efficient. Like, it doesn't get more efficient than almost 2 points per shot attempt. It's ridiculous. His improvement. He deserves every single rotation minute that they're going to give him in the playoffs because he's fucking earned it.
Between he and Highsmith, I mean, the last few weeks have been just booming for the stock. And let's compare it to early in the season when Highsmith's stock was at an all-time high. I'm gonna keep it a stack between my friends, you guys, and our lovely audience.
Say
here.
it, because I agree.
I don't know if Jaime is a lock to play in the playoffs, and I think that for sure Jovic and Highsmith have earned those, at least, right now they've earned those minutes. Now we'll see what Duncan's health is going to look like, because that's, I think, going to determine a lot. Obviously, Tyler's going to play, and Jimmy and Bam and Kevin and those guys, but health, assuming everyone's healthy and ready to go. I don't know if Jaime is going to find a spot. I mean, he's hitting that rookie wall at an unfortunate time, which is, I think, common, and he'll get some chances to play. But I think when rubber hits the road, they're going to keep, I mean, those guys are competing, and Highsmith in particular defensively. I mean, there are times that he becomes like a depoy Kawhi that you can't dribble around him. It's crazy. He just takes that shit like to good players. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I think both those guys have really had rising stock, and at the same time, Jaime's stock. Did Jaime score today?
Yeah, he hit a 3.
He had a 3 in the left corner. Yep.
Yeah, so he had one basket.
But
he
he's
3
just
points, 4 rebounds.
I don't know. Just been out of whack lately. It feels like he's not feeding off of the team's energy anymore. Like, he's been relegated to being a shooter. And I mean, pre-draft, I was pretty, like, hell-bent on, like, he's not really a ready shooter. Yes, he could project to be that, but it's not just the shooting that's been bad. I think his defense has regressed significantly. He just doesn't feel like I don't know who he's guarding now. Like, I don't know who he can guard recently. He's kind of struggled on that end, and it's just, I don't think he's all the way there. And maybe he shouldn't get a shot in the playoffs unless we're really banged up, because honestly, like you said, G, I think that 4 rotation is solidified, in my opinion, with Haywood and Jovic.
And Jimmy, really. I mean, Jimmy's going to play 4. Yeah, 100%. Bond?
No, I agree. It's unfortunate. It's the combination of the groin that he had twice, and then the lineup shuffle. Guys came out. He was great. Guys came back. There's a whole reshuffling of the deck. And then it's just, he's not getting, he never really had like bounce. Like, he's not getting lift, and he wasn't getting a lot of lift kind of before. People are anticipating his bodying things around the rim now. And I feel like he does get a shot, but I think it's a very short leash. I feel like there's something from Spo that is going to honor the way that he began, and kind of just what he still feels like he can do. Whether or not that comes to fruition this postseason or not, but I feel like he gets a shot. But I do think his leash will be super short. And one more thing on Nikola's defensive thing, G, you talked about them switching him a lot more now and it being less drop, and I think that is been like to his advantage.
Yeah.
And the drop, he's still not on like a backpedal 2-step kind of controlled type of drop thing. I'm still worried about his agility kind of forward and back in that way, but side to side and with his length, he's playing much better like with his chest and kind of with his shoulders. But just him in space out away from the basket has been, just like you both have said, like a revelation. And it allows them to do, kind of all these other things and unlock and play with, kind of different combinations and stuff. I do think he gets a little bit of a shot, but
what do you think of this? So, like, I don't think that he has like great defensive instincts, but I do think that he is like pretty athletic and he can move like laterally like pretty well too. So, and I think that when you're in a drop, there's like a lot of like little micro things you got to worry about. Like how deep am I going? I got to contain the roller and the ball handler. I'm responsible for that. I think there's a lot
that you come out of the drop into the contest, like timed well.
Yeah. As opposed to when you switch, especially with the way that he do it, that okay, my help is coming here and here. That's where we help from. And I just got to worry about the guy in front of me. And, he's going under screen. So he's like, I just got to worry about that and go under and then contest, which I think is probably I think that simplifies his task a bit. I was wondering what you guys thought.
Yeah, I think I agree entirely. In a drop, it feels like you have to contain for everybody on the team. But when he switches, he just has to worry about himself.
Yeah.
And that's how he works best, is honestly just worrying about himself on defense and trusting that the guys behind him, like not having to cover up for everybody. Because he's not that level of few people are that level of a defender, but he's definitely not that level of a help defender, I guess, or drop
He's become a lot better, a help defender, like positionally, team defense.
As a forward,
he's rotating quick. Like his pre-rotations are smooth. He's calling stuff out, and I think part of that too is like as a playmaker, understanding where playmaking potential type of angles are happening around him. So he kind of has like a little bit of a jump on things now that he kind of knows what to look for and just have seen it a bit more.
So quick little housekeeping. I see a lot of people in chat talking about Giannis tearing his ACL. Giannis did not tear his ACL. The official report right now is a calf strain or calf injury. So it is not. There's not a report of an ACL at this moment. So before chat and fans start speculating on the status of him, that's not what's official right now. I did not watch the game, but I saw. Achilles. I'm sorry, chat says again. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's not an Achilles. Well, at least that's not what's been reported as of now. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he walked off on his own, which is a good sign. For him. Obviously, we don't want anybody hurt. We want everybody healthy in the playoffs, especially a guy like him. Who's so important to the league, and you want him to be healthy and have a good long career. So hopefully Giannis gets better. But I just wanted to clear that up. For chat, because I saw a lot of people asking, and obviously that's important because that could be a potential, probably the most, either them or Boston are the two most likely opponents for Miami kind of going forward. They're 1.5 back of Indiana for 6, so they're going to have a chance, and they're very likely going to play, whoever ends up in that 7 spot. I believe the game would be on Tuesday next week, so they'd play Sunday against the Raptors, close out their regular season, and that'd be. I don't think it's very likely that they get 6, but we'll see. So let's talk about Jimmy a bit, guys. Actually, let's talk about Herro, then we'll get into Jimmy because I thought Herro played really well. Tyler, listen, I think they needed him as a scorer today, especially in the first half, and kind of in that fourth quarter. I actually thought in overtime when the ball responsibility shifted from Jimmy to Herro, the offense looked so much better. I thought, Tyler does a much better job of getting Bam on the roll. That opens so much up, whenever kind of the guy on the weak side comes to help, Bam hits that guy in the corner. And then it's Jovic. Jovic is going to drive the ball. Tyler had this really, really nice pass when he drove base. When he drove, he's kind of behind the basket, does like this wraparound pass to Highsmith on the wing, I believe, like early in the second half. Just a beautiful ball. Bond, we have been really hard on. We're famously very hard on Tyler. I think some of it's been earned. I think we're pretty fair with him. And I thought today was a performance that they needed him. They needed every point that he gave them. He played really well. And if they get this version of him in the playoffs, that is such life into their anemic offense.
I want to be clear. Like, yes, tough on Tyler. And a lot of the way that people act around him don't help. But I do try to like keep that separate of him. But I also have been like very vocal and very adamant that, again, him in that Boston series a couple years ago makes a difference. I don't know that we beat Denver, but him in that Denver series at least helps with things. And it's his maneuverability. It's the way that he can get in and out of the teeth of the defense in a controlled way, either for himself or his teammates. And at the start of this season, I think people were doing a little bit too much. Like he doesn't really feel like he's improved. I'm like, his dribble feels more explosive. It feels burstier. It feels tighter. It feels like he's moving forward kind of with more intention. And yeah, like they need him. They need this particular set of skill sets. Like Nikola has his, Bam has his thing, Jimmy has his thing. Terry has some of what Tyler does, but it looks different and it feels different. Terry is much more start and stop, very herky-jerky, very explosive straight line kind of that way. Tyler is start and stop, but with a lot more, again, just, I don't know how else to say it, but like fluidity and creativity with the ball. And it allows him to get into so many like pockets and nooks and crannies. And he has every shot that you want a high volume or a volume guard to kind of have. And I love his middle of the floor repertoire. And so if he can stay healthy and just stay on the floor for them, whatever the length of this playoff run is, he's an asset. He's someone that they desperately need. And like you said, once you got the ball out of Jimmy's hands and got it back into Tyler's hands, in the overtime, it felt better. I tweeted too, like after it got back to Tyler and he got like the first 2 buckets or whatever of the second overtime, he kicked it to Haywood like in the deep left corner, but it looked like it could have been going to Jimmy, but Haywood just took it, ripped baseline and kind of finished, and it just felt like motherfuckers were like playing around Jimmy now. It's like, okay, you know what? You're here. You've had these like last couple shots. Let's try something else. But very happy with what Tyler looked like today. Under control, steady. Like he felt good.
So to your point about, or to your like comment about like kind of the Herro and Rozier kind of like feeling the same but different. I think the main, I totally agree with you, and I think that what separates them is Rozier uses speed and change of pace, and Tyler leverages shooting. Because I think at the end of the day, I think Tyler always wants to go to a pull-up. That's like what he wants. Rozier, I think actually Rozier likes a step back more than the pull-up. Rozier like wants, so like, with the step back, you're kind of, guys are like moving back because you're so fast. You get that step back, you make that space, as opposed to Herro, who's like kind of kind of what you said, like the finesse, the weaving around screens and kind of that fluidity that you talked about. And I thought that was like a really great point. How like they're like pretty similar, and I think they occupy similar spots on the floor. Area. Yeah, I thought that was a great point. Lou, I think the 5 rebounds was huge for him. I think he was like especially like kind of late in that game, he was fucking flying to get those rebounds, and that's never a question with him. I think he's a guy that always competes in effort, and he's not a big guard in terms of like girth or height, and he's fucking fighting, and that's one thing I will always commend him for. And I think the organization really likes that. Just competes, man, and that matters. That wins you, like, I don't know, a stretch in a playoff game that matters like that's big time.
No, yeah, he's an above average rebounder. Like he's not afraid to get down there. I know he only had 5 today, but
I think for his size, 5 is amazing.
Yeah, he
That's
was.
that's like on his lower games though. Like he's
Yeah,
somewhere around like 6, 7, 8.
7, 8.
Atlanta's
Yeah,
Atlanta's big
And
though.
yes,
I mean,
but
yeah, you know what I
yeah,
mean. Like
yeah.
they're like those are big dudes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was definitely battling down there, trying to keep Capella away from the rebounds and stuff. And the rebounding thing with Tyler, if I'm being honest, he's a very good positional rebounder. So that's not a question, but I think today he had it going, man. Like he just had it going in that first half. It wasn't just like, so he felt comfortable across the entire floor. It was beautiful. And to Bond's point, Terry's more of a step back kind of guy. To your guys' point, Tyler is always comfortable when he's going downhill. That doesn't mean getting to the rim. That just means moving in a forward motion, whether that's a floater, whether that's a pull up, whether that's forward, but he hits a little sidestep maybe for a midi or something, but he's not a step back kind of guy. That's not really his game. But today, just maneuvering all those spots on the floor. I know he only had 4 assists. He passed the ball really well today.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? He didn't let it stick. Sometimes assist numbers are not indicative of how good a playmaker somebody is, in my fucking opinion, but whatever. Just his ability to like not let the ball stick today. If anything, Jimmy did a whole lot of that, and Tyler was pretty well with that, particularly early in the game. Even one of the most impressive plays wasn't even an assist for him, in my opinion. It was the Heat's offense had kind of bogged down, and he went to the right. He got blitzed by Capella, and he jumped up and swung it all the way across to the other left wing 3 to Highsmith, and Highsmith extra to Hyman. That was a Hyman corner 3. And just that quick thinking and process, and then followed that one up with the drive that you spoke of, G, that he found Highsmith after going under the rim and ignoring the corner guy and passing to the wing. Like those things just open up so much space. And, the Hawks were kind of like letting the Heat shoot their threes as long as Bam wasn't getting it on the roll. So, being able to find those shooters in rhythm, in my opinion, is something that Tyler does a lot better than everybody else we have on this team. Aside from, I guess a healthy Duncan, but I'm praying we get that, but it's not set in stone. But he played a really comfortable game. Offensively, defensively though, he got hunted, and that's not new news. I'm curious to see if the offense holds up so much that the defense doesn't matter, because we have enough defenders on the team to like kind of make up for him. But at the same time, we do not have enough offense on this team. So
I actually think that like today was interesting because they had no Rozier and no Duncan and only Tyler, and Kevin Love only played 5 minutes. So really, those 4 guys are like huge parts of their rotation. They're all minus defenders. I guess in Kevin Love's case, he's an okay defender, which is kind of funny at this point.
For his role.
Yeah, for his role. And those guys didn't play, right? So just Tyler, and I guess Jovic is kind of like in that like below average to neutral. I wouldn't say that Jovic is like, there yet. But that I thought that was interesting that they really only played like a few guys that you're just like, okay, like how can we protect them, in our scheme, as opposed to 4 of them. So it was no real like 3 lineups with 3 of them, that happens, or like, like a lot of those Kevin, Tyler, Duncan, or Rozier, Duncan, Jovic or whatever. And I think that I thought that was interesting. And I think Tyler gets a lot of flack because he gets hurt a lot. So he's usually the man out. And I just think it's difficult when you have that many guys who are like defenders, and like your identity is like, we are a defense first team because we don't have enough offensive talent to be better. So it's like kind of, I don't know, like when I see you nodding your head, it's just like kind of a weird reality that they live in. And today was kind of like a peak of like, yeah, this is when like 3 of their better offensive players aren't on the floor, but their defense looked a lot more competent.
Yep. It's like you're never going to have enough quantity wise of like both thing unless Duncan's here, but again, that's adding an above average offensive player with a, subpar defensive skill set. So, you're not wrong. It's I know stuff, but that's the beauty, quote unquote, in having so much versatility and so much variety and being able to get guys in and out, um, in tight pockets and situationally, and being able to puppeteer, um, the actions and things that you need. And the other thing, like what I also really like about Tyler and his handle, he is the he allows us to play a really high middle ball screen better than like anyone kind of else. Um,
Yep.
Jimmy's high ball screen doesn't really work well. Terry's is fine, but that's probably going to end kind of in a step back. Like what the fuck is it? Tyler's
Yeah.
Tyler's ability to like stretch it that much because he again can do all that, and then that like opens so much space for Bam to catch it in a more comfortable pocket. I'm happy Tyler's back, and I hope he stays healthy for whatever we have left here.
So we'll kind of close out talking about Jimmy a little bit. Bam can skate today. I'm more upset with Jimmy than Bam. Um,
Fair.
like they have real issues lately. I guess all season when the offense becomes very Jimmy centric.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, they got lucky that a couple guys on Atlanta bid on some pump fakes that they should know better on. But against good
Mhm.
teams, it's not going to happen. Jimmy's getting blocked a lot. Got blocked by Bogdanovich today. Again, that's just like you're getting blocked by like smaller guards who shouldn't be doing that. And an interesting kind of thing that Quinn Snyder did for Atlanta was they were kind of running a pick and roll to get a switch, and they were running it with an empty corner. And Atlanta, because the way that Miami configures their court, when they do that empty corner, so the strong side of the ball has just the guy with just Jimmy and whatever guard they have, and then there's like two guys on the weak side corner. And Atlanta's like, well, we're just going to use one player to guard those two on the weak side
Yep.
corner. And then we're going to have Capella come, or I remember if it was Capella or Hunter. We're going to come over and we're going to shade. So Jimmy can't turn to his strong shoulder that he wants to do that turnaround for. So he's going to be met with help there. And that resulted in awful offense. And really, Miami never solved it. And they just stopped trying to post Jimmy up, which is kind of discouraging that you're just like, well, that's like theoretically like one of your pet plays. And now you're just like, okay, Atlanta, you win. I'm not going to do that anymore. To a defensive team that's not very good. Obviously, Quinn Snyder's a really, really smart coach. Bond, that was to me. I mean, there's so many things that bother me about like their offense with Jimmy, but like I was like, wow, that's like are you just sitting on the? Are you going to beat the Pascal Siakam spin allegations? Like, what's going on?
I mean, because then like, okay, I need you doing other things. Like I need you cutting. I need you, doing all this other stuff. Like you said,
Or
that
go
is one of the-
faster.
Yes, or move quicker. Yes,
Like, so that guy can't come.
Go. Stop waiting. Like he will wait for the guy to come to then see if he can think his way out of whatever the next wave of rotations are. It's like, no, get it, kind of go. You got these shoulders. You have this chest. Beyblade Butler. I'm weak. Let him rip, please. Like, dude. I don't know. I need him to get ripping, but man.
Chat's asking if Spo would have taken Jimmy for Terry out if Terry was healthy. Stop asking nonsense. That's not how this works.
No.
Get out of here.
Caleb could have come out sooner. But
Bro, okay, I'm sorry. Let's pause on Jimmy. What the fuck, Caleb? Bro, that one he missed in the corner that was really bad. He hung his head, and I was like, oh, bro,
yeah.
that's just like me for real.
Because he missed the one right before that on the left side, on the
Yeah.
other side. That hitch is back. That hitch is hitching. It smoothed out at one point. It's back.
Chad said that ain't Caleb, it's Cody.
Yeah, bro. Somebody needs to have a DNA test. I think, don't they have the same DNA? I digress, but we need to figure out something, man.
I don't think that's how human beings work.
I don't know. I heard something about that, but I don't know what's going on with Caleb. He played 27 minutes today. 10 too many. It was bad. Defensively,
after that three, that was when. So I was like, damn, Caleb. I was texting a friend. I look up Highsmith's in the game, and I was like, you know what? That's the correct thing to do here.
Yep.
It was 100% the correct thing.
Caleb looked distressed on the bench at the end of that game. Whenever they panned to the bench, Caleb looked more stressed than Spo.
So, Spo has aged 17 years during the course of this season.
No, really.
The last two, if we're being real.
Yeah. The last two, if we're being real, but this is yeah. Back to Jimmy
I cannot
first.
believe
There
he
you
signed
go.
up for another 10 years of this. I cannot believe that.
Go back.
No.
to me.
Back
Let's
to
go
Jimmy.
back to Jimmy. Yeah.
His just the offensive process lately. I want to say lately, but it's just been pissing me off now because there's a little saying, a little kid is 5 years old, puts his hand on a burning stove, burns himself. Tsa. Kid doesn't do it again. We burn our hand on the stove and we fucking leave it there, man. We enjoy the pain. Like, what are we doing? This offense bogs down to bullshit every time. When are the Heat worse offensively? Oh, I got an idea. When they're stagnant. What do they do at the end of every game? They get stagnant. Like, what is going on? Like, since when is, to Bond's point,
That's
there's
just
only
the NBA, bro. Because I saw you complaining about that in our group chat, and I'm like, I don't disagree with you, but like every coach always just runs the same fucking thing.
I agree, G. This is what I'll say, man. This is what I'll say. The difference is we're running these bogged down offensive plays with Jimmy Butler, somebody sending him a high screen 30 feet from the basket, knowing demo he's not going to pull up from three. There's only one person on this team we should be setting a screen for 30 feet beyond the basket, and it's Atl Herro. And dare I say, Patty fucking Mills was healthy today, and he should not be playing today. But I digress. Like, we're not setting each other up for success with these fucking play calls. And then Bam is coming from the strong side with two other guys there, setting a screen towards that side with 4 seconds left. Jimmy has nowhere to go. Nobody has moved, and it's
The initial screens what bothered me because it was Caleb.
That's the first one
back in the game. So
that's
Caleb was out of the game. One. They put him back
intentionally.
In the game.
That was the plan, Caleb.
So Jimmy inbounded, which I liked because I think that their inbounding post Kyle has been a little bit of a mess. And other than Kevin Love, no one's been really good at it. And I agreed with the decision of like, perfect, Jimmy inbounds, he'll just get the ball back. Inbounds to, and I was like, why is Caleb in the game? Inbounds to Caleb. Pablo, if you could put the play up for us because we have it here.
Horrendous play.
Yeah. So Jimmy's going to inbound here. You have, I believe that's DeAndre Hunter on the ball. So they're giving the ball as that guy with the cowboy hat is really, I don't know what he's doing. So Caleb gets the ball. Jimmy's going to get it back here. I don't know why this took so long. But Jimmy has it back. Now he's running the clock down. I'm going to remove the camera so we can see the clock. Look at that. So
bring
Pablo,
it back.
Go back
when
a little bit.
When he starts calling 8 seconds.
What? Pause there. I pause here. What the fuck? So Caleb theoretically is going to flare to the wing. And when you flare to the wing, you get that open shot. That you run that play to give you an
Duncan
option.
And Kevin Love.
Or Niko.
Or Tyler Herro.
Or Tyler.
Yes.
To get the small switch.
Bam!
Don't do that.
At this point.
If you're any kind of smart team, you're just going to be like, Caleb Martin's 0 for 9 with a hitch and a shot. I'm going to double team Jimmy Butler at the top of the key because look on the weak side. There's 3 fucking Hawks. Right? Man. They have that shit covered. So Pablo, run it and pause it at the trap. So there, boom, 2 guys step up. And when they do, they push Jimmy out. So Jimmy doesn't have that angle. So now Jimmy has to come out and back in.
And Caleb's still not out of his screen. Like he slip, open up, get out of there.
And he's gonna flare, be open. No one's gonna care. Pablo, play it.
Oh
pause
God.
it when the pass, like
this
he's open. There's no pass. It's over. Now Herro has the ball. There's 2. It's done. It's fucking done.
Why are we doing this to our audience?
No, it was
It was enough we watched it once.
Changed the screening angle because he couldn't.
But I didn't even notice.
It's so ugly. Not just that, Jimmy is after they switch the screening angle. Jimmy's going towards the side where there's 4 defenders at this point, plus the guy trailing him with 5 seconds left. Like he's going towards the right side. And Tyler's there, Bam is there, and Jovic is there.
You know what the truth is, Lou? That man has no crossover.
No.
Which is,
but
there, you hit him with the crossover, and you kind of with your left hand, you make a dribble into the paint, you get an angle, maybe you get a help. Jovic's
Okay.
man comes to help.
Get your guy on your back.
You do
I don't
fucking
know.
something.
I don't know when y'all realize Dwayne Wade is no longer on this basketball team.
I miss him so much because he scores there.
He was the only guy who would make all that bullshit that Spo was calling recently at the end of the games right. He just bailed him out, man.
And
like
that was before Spo got fun with like guard screens. It was just fucking D-Wade, go do it.
Why? But this is that play. I clearly remember the end of overtime, them doing the same exact thing. The difference was Bam set the screen. Another non-shooter. And Jimmy goes towards the same side with two more people there. Like, what is this process? Like, oh man, it's so frustrating. I literally just give somebody else the ball. Like, let us see what we have for the future. Let us fuck the future. Let us see what we have for this postseason. Because
let's see what we have for next week.
Yeah, that shit's not working. It's the buttons are, the light was off, man. The light was off. It's just not working. They need to. I don't know what they need to do. Maybe trust somebody else for once, because Jimmy. I'm pro getting Jimmy the ball in crunch time situations in the mid post.
Well, they did, Lou. They did trust. They did trust somebody else later in that game. Tyler,
and it worked.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, it's trusting players in spots where they're comfortable. Jimmy's not comfortable 30 feet from the basket. Trust him in the mid post.
I also think we're too far gone a little bit with the Jimmy. So I want him to have like a look. It's weird because like I trust him in the clutch moments, even if he's cold, I guess. But I really want him to have had some type of lather. He didn't have anything kind of the whole game.
Talking about?
Jimmy.
Yeah.
He didn't have it like the whole game. His presence didn't feel, present the whole game. And so now I'm relying on this guy to, put the cape on in the last 17 seconds or whatever. And it's just like, I get it. He's earned that reverence. He's earned, that honor or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. We got to win games.
Yep.
They got to win games.
That shit was stressful.
Time is running out. 3 games left. Game and a half back of Indiana for 6. Guys, we'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll run this back. And by the way, all this double overtime. Got a game against Luka and Kyrie Irving tomorrow.
See, this is what happened when they fucked around with Boston. We could have been in Denver chilling with some free time.
Big chilling. Get used to the altitude.
Man,
hang on
off our legs.
Oh, man. And instead, they could have closed this game out. They were up pretty big. They really blew a third quarter lead, and they let Atlanta back in the game. It's just, it's frustrating because I texted my friends today and I said, like, they're legitimately trying today, and they're in a fucking dogfight with the Hawks. Like, they're fighting for their fucking lives against Atlanta. So we'll see. Then Dallas tomorrow, then Toronto on Friday, and then Toronto on Sunday. Toronto's gonna be miserable. Those 2 Raptor games are gonna be awful. They're gonna be so fucking miserable. But we got you covered. Wall-to-wall coverage here on Miami Heat Beat, all the games. I know it's the weekend. I'm skip. I told my dad, I know it's your birthday weekend. I don't care. I'm working. I'm covering the game. Dad, I'm here for the audience. So we'll see you Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you Friday. And so enjoy, guys. Hopefully they go on a little win streak. Peace.